Hello, BookTube. This is the fourth Big Wall bookcase, third shelf, part 7, the next to last part, again, is religious books. You may wonder why for the first 4 parts and then these last 4 parts, I wear only 2 different t-shirts. Because I take the opportunity to film them in groups like this so that we don't have the videos be too long, and then with my work schedule I can release a few videos and make progress on the shelves. So the first book here is one I've had for a very long time. It's Bar Kokhba, The Rediscovery of the Legendary Hero of the Second Jewish Revolt Against Rome, author of Masada Yagil Yadin. He was quite an adventurer, an archaeologist, Israeli patriot. This is The Rediscovery of the Legendary History, Random House, New York. Copyright 1971. So it's a history of an archaeological find. The next one here is Lost Christianities, The Battles for Scripture and the Faiths We Never Knew. This is by Bart D. Ehrman. He's a pretty prolific writer. Oxford University Press, 2003. Does have some illustrations. The early Christian church was a chaos of contending beliefs. Some groups of Christians claimed that there was not one God, but 2 or 12 or 30. Some believed that the world had not been created by God, but by a lesser ignorant deity. Certain sects maintained that Jesus was human but not divine, while others said he was divine but not human. In Lost Christianities, Bart D. Ehrman offers a fascinating look at these early forms of Christianity and show how they came to be suppressed, reformed, or forgotten. All of these groups insisted that they upheld the teachings of Jesus and his apostles, and they all possessed writings that bore out their claims, books reputedly produced by Jesus' own followers. So, fascinating story. This next one, this is the annual of the American School of Oriental Research in Jerusalem, volume 2 and 3, edited for the Managing Committee by Warren J. Moulton, published by the American School of Oriental Research in Jerusalem, New Haven, Yale University Press, Sale Agents, 1923. It's got a little bit of spots of some paint or something on it. I actually ordered this book because I had worked with some of Dr. Moulton's papers at one time, and I needed to read some of his reports. This is some of that. And something in it here. Oh, a thank you from the bookseller I ordered it from. Give them a little bit of press. Such as it is, right? So there's an annual report. And then this here is The Dead Sea Scrolls Uncovered by R. Eisenman and M. Weiss. We've seen Mr. Eisenman in an earlier volume. The first complete translation and interpretation of 50 key documents withheld for over 35 years, excuse me. This is a Barnes & Noble reprint from 1992, and this 94 by Barnes & Noble. So there was quite a bit of controversy about letting free access to the scrolls, which were divvied up between scholars at one time. I guess the dam eventually broke. This is Qumran, where the caves were, where the scrolls were found, for those of you who are into that. fragment. There's Masada Step Palace with the Dead Sea in the distance. What a dramatic a picture is that? I hope you can see it. That's something. And then Marcus J. Borg and John Dominic Crossan. This a day-by-day account of Jesus' final week in Jerusalem. Give you a little book. And it's Harper, San Francisco. And it was from the first edition, 2006. So they just go through the days. Chapter 1 is Palm Sunday. Then 2 is Monday, 3 Tuesday, 4 Wednesday, 5 Thursday, 6 Friday, 7 Saturday, and 8 is Easter Sunday. It's a section of notes for the Holy Week. This one's pretty famous. Beyond Belief, The Secret Gospel of Thomas by Elaine Pagels. She was the author of the Gnostic Gospels. This one, Random House, New York, 2005. There she is. Then this one, again, no dust jacket, but this was a standard work for a long time. I don't know if it's read much anymore or not. It may be. Religion and the Rise of Western Culture. And it's a Gifford Lectures delivered at the University of Edinburgh in 48 and 49 by Christopher Dawson. And this is New York, Sheed and Ward, 1950. Let's have some illustrations, yeah. German Prince Bishop Frederick I, Archbishop of Magdeburg. Let's see what we have for some sections here. So, the significance of Western development, religious origins of Western culture, the Church of the Barbarians, the monks of the West and the formation of the Western tradition, the barbarians and the Christian kingdom, the Second Dark Age and the conversion of the North, the Byzantine tradition and the conversion of Eastern Europe, the reform of the Church in the 11th century and the medieval papacy, the feudal world, chivalry and the courtly culture, the medieval city, commune and guild, the medieval city, school and university, the religious crisis of medieval culture, the 13th century, and the conclusion is medieval religion and popular culture. So, this is Mr. Dawson. And this is a handy book, The Oxford Companion to Christian Art and Architecture. Spine on it. Peter and Linda Murray, Oxford, New York, Oxford University Press, 1996. So, it's short entries on different subjects. So there's Irish art. Obviously, if you really want to get an Irish art, you get a whole book on it. But this is a place to start. A handy volume. And then for book collectors, this is one of the most famous books in the Western tradition. I'm going to do my best to pronounce it. It's the Hypnerotomachia Polyphily. It's Hypnerotomachia Polyphily. Or The Strife of Love in a Dream, which I prefer. So, that's what you'd have to say. And I'm sure there's plenty of folks who can, but I struggle with it. Exactly 500 years after its first publication by the great Venetian printing house of Aldus Manituus in 1499, And if you know the history of books, Aldous is a big deal. Francesco Colonna's weird, erotic, allegorical tale, titled this, was translated into English and reprinted in full, together with all 174 original and enchanting woodcut illustrations. It has been called the first stream of consciousness novel and is one of the most important documents of the Renaissance imagination and fantasy. The author, presumed to be Francesco Colonna, a friar of dubious reputation, was obsessed by architecture, landscape, and costume. It is not going too far to say sexually obsessed, and his woodcuts are a primary source for Renaissance ideas on both buildings and gardens. So, quite a volume here. Here's some of the woodcuts. This is the translated text. And I originally got it because of its importance in the history of the book, but somehow it migrated over to the religious books. I don't, maybe it needs to be reshelved. This book, I picked this up because of the Da Vinci Code, if you can remember when that was a big deal. And I knew there was a big controversy where Dan Brown got his material. I think there was legal battles. This is the book, Holy Blood, Holy Grail. That's how far I got into it before I just put it down. The Secret History of Christ, the Shocking Legacy of the Grail. Michael Bagnet, Richard Lee, and Henry Lincoln. Don't even care if I lose my page. I just couldn't get into it. There was, I don't know, maybe if I'd stuck with it longer, I would have liked it more. But I've kept it. I don't know if I'll ever go back to it. Then finally, when I was doing my master's thesis, I did it on the scholar Yaroslav Pelikan. And a lot of times you have to get these other people's thesis or dissertation or whatever as part of your work, because they've done a lot of the footwork and you want to read them, give them credit. So this is one of those volumes that you get from the UMI dissertation services. Usually it'll look like that. And you order them, and they bind them for you and send them along. This one was Perspectives on Christian Doctrine in the Work of Yaroslav Pelikan, His Vindication of the Christian Tradition, by William David Bouchard. This was his PhD volume. Copyright 1989 by William David Bouchard, all rights reserved. And this was a dissertation submitted to the Graduate School of Drew University in partial fulfillment of his requirement to get a Doctor of Philosophy. So they'll be printed like this, or at least they were when I used to get them. And of course, you can tell this fellow's done a huge amount of work, which informed my work, and which he was given full credit for. So that was I've kept it because actually it's quite a fascinating work. So that finished part 7 of the third shelf of the 4th Big Wall bookcase. So we only have one more section to go. That's religion, and that's the final section of religion. So thank you, BookTube.